Hi and welcome. Welcome to Employment and Industrial Relations Law. Thanks for joining me in this unit. My name is Associate Professor Jennifer Nielsen and I will be your unit assessor and your teacher in this unit in Term 2 this year. I have about 20 years experience teaching in this field of law. Have also co-written a textbook with my colleague Dr. Rowan Price. That text is currently being updated as in terms of employment law, it's gotten way out of date because of changes made by the government recently, full stop. But we're going to catch up on all of those changes during this unit. But I also teach the related unit, EEO and OH&S Law and Practice. Some of you might be doing both of those units. But anyway, it's a great joy to have you in class and I hope that you're looking forward to these studies. The studies in this unit are available to all students in our law programs as well as students in our business programs. And I'm mindful for those of you in business studies that you may not be as familiar with the details and the techniques of engaging with law and legislation. Don't worry, I'm here to support you and you're learning this session. This area of law, this field of law, relates to a very significant social force in our society today, and that is work. The law of work, or labour law as it's also called, is a field of law that has great practical relevance to us all, but it's also a very significant area of legal and business practice. In this unit, we'll be looking at the social, economic and political influences that have shaped this legal field, as that will help us fully understand the contemporary shape of the legal principles as they sit today, and also to understand why it's such a volatile area of law. And it is a volatile area of law. And I can guarantee you that with each change of government, there can be quite substantive and significant changes to the key legislation that regulates this field of activity. And indeed, as I alluded to in terms of our textbook, there've been very recent changes brought in to the Fair Work Act, an act that we're going to be working with over the session. And yes, I can certainly guarantee that if we get a change of government, that will happen again. Anyway, coming back to our learning, what that really reflects and sort of emphasises from the start is that the philosophy and the values that underscore these laws involve a tug of war, or what we might call a tug of war, between labour and capital. So this is very much about the regulation of our economic system, and that system has great influence on the way these laws work. And one of the big questions we'll consider together is whether or not these particular values and philosophies ever overlap. Now, to begin the unit, we're going to be looking at the historical development of this field of law. And there's a reason for that, and it's because fundamentally the contemporary shape of those laws has been shaped by our history. So our current laws are a product of our history of invasion, the history of colonisation and the development of the federal constitutional system in Australia. And the laws continue to reflect these legacies, including the legacies of racism and sexism and other forms of oppression of particular groups. And these legacies continue in the form of ongoing practices that continue to reflect types of ongoing colonisation and sexism and gender divides and so on. And we'll be touching on those things as we work through the units, and we'll see that there are influences also from international law and labour standards to help Australia sort of lift its game and to ensure that its standards and approaches to these laws accord with international opinions on the matter. And so in looking at those various things, we'll also look at the question of whether or not we can resist and transform these legacies in our contemporary definition and practice of these laws. Now, to support your learning in the unit, each week I'm going to be publishing a pre-recorded workshop. I will also be available for a Q&A, sort of virtual office hours, if you like, to answer any questions you have in person and to sort of do that promptly. And we'll also be meeting each week in tutorials to engage in an active discussion about the materials in your learning modules. All of the information and the resources that you need is available over your learning site. But of course, if you have any questions at any time, please don't hesitate. Just contact me. You can do that either through my contact details, which are on the contacts form in the learning site, or you can meet me in my virtual office hours, and there'll be more information about that on the website. And of course, you also will have a dedicated discussion forum, which I will be able to respond to really promptly to any questions posted there. So for now, I'm just really looking forward to working with you over this term. I'm really glad that you've taken this unit, and I really hope that you find it interesting, exciting, and challenging. Looking forward to meeting you either online or in person in our classes next week. Okay, take care for now. Happy reading until we get started in our discussions.